Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to pay for Berklee, and I'm really excited to be making this video for you all today because I know when I applied I didn't think I would actually be able to go just because of how expensive it was. But now I am a full-time student, so I'm going to share with you some things that were helpful for me in being able to afford going to school here. And just a few things about me. I am a saxophone performance and music business major going into my 4th semester, and I'm from the United States. I know everyone comes from different places around the world as well as different financial backgrounds, so this is just some things that I've personally done and hopefully they can be helpful to you as well as any other college student. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Currently, the way Berklee is charging their fees is around $47,000 per semester for tuition. It's about $9,000 for on-campus housing plus a meal plan, and then you're also going to be spending roughly $4,000 or $5,000 on flights, health insurance, and other fees like books. They kind of round this number up to $73,000, but I think that's a little bit exaggerated, so it just depends on how much money you're spending on all of these things. I personally didn't spend any more than maybe $100 a year on books, and in this past year I only spent maybe $40 on books. It's also just important to know that Berklee does raise their tuition around $1,500 per year, so that's important just so you don't come out with any surprises. First and foremost, the number one thing that is going to cover your costs is scholarships, and particularly the ones that are coming from Berklee themselves. And so your scholarship amount is determined based on your audition as well as your interview. So it's really important to prepare for these things as best as you can. I would recommend preparing for your audition months in advance before you actually apply to Berklee. I'd recommend just playing whatever you feel comfortable with and just coming in and doing your best. And it's also really important not to overlook your interview. So when you come for your interview, it's really important that you've prepared by looking over different interview questions, which I've linked down below. Tell Berklee why their school is better for you than any other school that they could go to. Talk about the specifics of Berklee. Do you know what majors they have, what minors they have? How is Berklee going to help you achieve your goals? And most importantly, Berklee wants to know how you are going to help other people by going to their school. So they kind of look at you as a sort of investment, and how are you going to be able to use what Berklee has given you to help those around you as well. So yeah, the most scholarship money is going to be given to you from Berklee themselves, so this is the most important thing to prepare for. After you've received your scholarship amount, it's a really good idea to be looking at outside scholarships, which I've linked to a couple of different websites down below that you can look at as well. I know that I have received some help through these websites, and I hope that you can too. So when it comes to looking for outside scholarships, one of the best things to do is to look for things that make you unique. So look for scholarships that may be based on where you're coming from, or if you have some type of disability, there's a lot of mental health scholarships. I know if you have someone in your family who's maybe gone through cancer, like one of your parents, or other things like that, there's scholarships for all of these things. So just keep a lookout on those things that make you unique and apply for those scholarships. Another thing you can do to save money is once you've got your scholarship offer, you can actually email the financial aid office and try and ask them for more money. I think they have a couple of different forms you can fill out below for that, and you can also do that as a continuing student. I've also heard of different students asking their private teacher to help them get more money from the financial aid office if you've excelled a lot in your private lessons. Your teacher would usually be more than happy to help talk to the financial aid office and tell them that you've done a really great job, and maybe they could give you a little bit more help in the form of scholarship money. The next thing that many students do to help lower their costs is they will transfer in credits either from AP classes or colleges that they've attended before. These can cover things like your liberal arts requirements, math, science, history, all of that. For me personally, I applied right out of high school, but I was taking a lot of college classes while I was still in high school because they offered that where I come from. So I was actually able to transfer in 30 credits, which is the maximum amount you can transfer in, which is a lot of money because Berklee currently is charging roughly $1,500 per credit. So by transferring in as many credits as possible, you're going to be saving a lot of money. So the next option that many students use to help cover their tuition and housing are loans. And if you live in the United States, I'd really recommend that you fill out the Fafsa form every single year and as early as possible. Fafsa is how the government basically helps aid you in paying for your schooling costs and is primarily based on need. Federal loans are better because they can often give you lower interest rates as well as better repayment options. If you get a subsidized loan, you don't have to pay any interest on it until after you graduate. And there are also more forgiveness options in case of any emergency happening or anything like that. Berklee also offers a number of scholarships to continuing students that you can look at that I've linked down below, as well as different grants based on your need, and they'll look at your FAFSA for that as well. Another great way to save money on Berklee is by applying for various grants. I know for me, just by filing the FAFSA, I was awarded a few different grants, both from Berklee as well as from the federal grants they offer, like the Pell Grant. So those are really great ways to also get some extra money. Grants are like scholarships where you can use them and you don't have to pay anything back. Loans are the only ones that you have to pay money back. So the next topic I wanted to cover is low budget options and saving money. So there's a number of different things you can do to help cut your costs when it comes to saving. So some of the things that are important to remember is that when you room with one or more roommates, you're going to be saving a lot of money on housing. If you cook more than you're eating out, you're going to be saving a lot of money. Another thing that I've personally done is going to Berklee study abroad in Valencia, Spain. Valencia is a lot cheaper than housing in Boston. Currently, housing in Valencia is around $3,800 per semester, whereas housing in Boston, you're looking about double that price, especially if you're staying on campus as a student. Another thing that you can save money when it comes to housing is applying to be an RA. Students who are RAs for on-campus housing basically don't have to pay for their housing, so that's another great way to save money there if you can get that position. And another thing I've heard students doing is taking the summer semesters. The summer semesters are shorter and a little bit more intensive, but because many students prefer going in the fall and winter, they are actually a little bit cheaper. It's also just important to learn as much as you can about finance, and reading books on it has helped me just to know how to budget and save your money the best that you can while you're a student in college. The next thing I wanted to talk about is work, study, and employment. My first year at Berklee, I worked on Berklee stage crew. They were paying about $14.75 at the time, and that was a really great opportunity just because working on campus gives you a lot of flexibility, and just that little bit of extra money, working a couple hours a week, was really helpful in helping me to pay for groceries and other things like that. Many students will also work full-time during their summers. That's what I did, and that can also be very helpful in paying for books and transportation fees and everything else like that. And then many other students will also teach private lessons while they're in school, which is a great way to make money and also keep an eye out on different gigs. Berklee's always posting about those, so there are ways to keep making money even while you're in school. There are many other students I know who get multiple part-time jobs while being a student just around the Boston area, so that's another thing you can look out for. Our next thing I wanted to cover is fundraising. Berklee students get that it can be really expensive to go to school here, and so many students are willing to help each other out, and I've seen a lot of people do GoFundMe type pages where they just ask for friends and family's help and helping to aid their education if they would like to. Okay, thank you guys for joining me today. That's all the tips that I have for now. I hope this was helpful to you guys in some way. If you have any more questions, you can always comment them down below, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.